Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the First Class, Second Place podcast. I'm your host, Jason Enrique, and we got another first class guest up in the building today. But before we continue, I want to remind everybody that we're live in Bravery Studios in Garfield, New Jersey. Shout out to Najee Beyond the Glass. Hope everybody's doing well. And I'm certainly doing well, especially compared to last week. So for those that didn't realize that I didn't have a show last week because I was sick as a dog, I think I had like sun poisoning. We had that really crazy heat wave, and I had like this really bad rash from my arm, and I just felt like super dehydrated. I had the chills and everything. I felt all the effects of what a fever comes with, except I didn't have the sore throat. I wasn't coughing. I wasn't sneezing. It was really, really weird, but I blame it on the sun and the heat wave and everything. But I'm back. I'm healthy, I'm good, and I'm happy to see you here. And I'm very, very excited to have my guest here. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Waking Lotus is in the building. What is going on, Waking Lotus?
Hello, thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited to be here, and I'm so glad that you're feeling better.
Oh, yeah, no, last week, usually I'm a guy that pushes through, but the fact that I couldn't come in last week, that goes to show how bad I was really feeling. And I also had two guests that were supposed to come on. Shout out to the Graving Sisters, but we rescheduled that to another date, so be on the lookout for that. But I was also worried that I didn't want to get either of them sick either. So, and I didn't want to get Najee or anybody else here sick either. So I just felt like, you know what? Give my body a rest. Take the time. Don't try to push it. And you know how brutally hot it was last week.
It was insane.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that you took care of yourself, because sometimes you keep pushing through, you ignore your body, and then you shut down.
Yeah, it's the Taurus in me, you know, like I'm stubborn. Like I not only did I take off the day last week from doing the show, but I also had to take the day off from my work day, which I don't like to do, but I had some sick days, so I figured, fuck it, I'll just use it, whatever. And I still got my boy Monty, my dog Monty, shout out to Monty. So he kept me comfort, and but now I'm back, I'm good, and I'm hope everybody's doing well and everybody's healthy, so. But anyway, the show's not about me. Yes, I'm the host, but we have this lovely guest here. So let's start from the beginning. So where do you come from? Where were you born and raised?
Well, I was born and raised in Elmhurst, Queens, New York. Shout out to Elmhurst. And Colombian American, so first generation American here, and spent a lot of summers in Colombia. So
what part of Colombia, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm from a small town called Cartago Valle.
Okay, my family is from Barranquilla.
Okay,
yeah, so,
La Costa.
Exactly. Basically, Shakira is the biggest thing to come out of that place.
And she has a school, I think, out there that she like made and funds.
I'm not sure.
She funds
Honestly,
like a whole school out there for low income children.
Honestly, I am a horrible Colombian, because the closest that I've ever been to Colombia is Jackson Heights.
I love Jackson Heights.
Yeah,
you ain't wrong for that.
Nothing wrong with that, but I just haven't been there yet. I haven't traveled yet. I'm almost 40 years old and I haven't been there yet. I've been to Costa Rica before. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to DR, but I just haven't made my way to Colombia yet. But that has to change really, really soon.
The time will come. I'm sure you'll be out there in no time.
Yeah.
The motherland.
Yeah, exactly, the motherland. So, growing up in Queens and also spending time in Colombia, like what was your upbringing sort of like? Like, did you come from a musically inclined family and that's where everything started for you?
It wasn't like very obviously a musical family. I found out later on that there was family members in my dad's side that had some sort of orchestra, but I don't really know much about it. But my mom did always sing to me since I was a little baby. And she would sing. I would sing with her. I found out later on that she had her own radio show in Colombia.
Wow, okay.
And she had a band and played guitar. But didn't pursue that. She went to college, and, she lived in a time where females couldn't really just decide to be rock stars, born in the 60s, and it's just highly frowned upon at that time, so she chose a different career path.
Well, we're not going to get to all that, but unfortunately it seems like we're heading in that direction again with everything that's going on in this world. But it seemed like your mother persevered, and then you came here, and so where did the love of music come from? I mean, because I feel like when we're kids, we're always have these I don't want to say delusions of grandeur, but we have these dreams, like sometimes that is like very, very sky high. And we always told that we could be anything that we want. You know, we sometimes want to be astronauts, sometimes we want to be actors, maybe a doctor, a lawyer, maybe whatever the case may be. And, you know, a lot of the time, especially coming from, at least for me, I came from a time where everybody wanted to be famous, but not everybody was necessarily good at something. So, what is it about music that hit you and you decided to pursue that going on with your life?
Well, I was 7 years old, and there was a girl named Jessica. My real name is Jessica, and her mother asked
Oh,
her
how
to play.
serendipitous.
Her mother asked her to play the violin for me, and she took out her violin, and it was just a moment where I was just like, it was love at first sight. I was like, I need to do that. I kept telling my mom, I need violin lessons. Like, I want to play the violin. And that summer that I went to Colombia, I got my first violin lessons about a block away from my grandmother's house. I think I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I came back to the States, and my mom found me a professional violin teacher. She was Russian, and I just continued playing the violin. So that was kind of like the start of my musical journey, and my love for music started with the violin.
And what about other artists, the mainstream ones? Like, were there any ones that you drew inspiration from, or were the ones that you aspired to be growing up?
Alicia Keys for sure, like that New York City, the songs in A minor. That
Yeah.
album was very inspiring. Shakira, of course, as a Colombian, it was Pies Descalzos album. It was like her when Shakira was a rock star. She had like the black hair, and she was like playing
Yeah.
guitar. And
This was before the whenever phase.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So those two artists really like inspired me as like a little girl. I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah, and it seems like it really resonated with you because you have Alicia Keys, who's from New York, and you have Shakira, who's Colombian. And you just saying that about Alicia Keys, it takes me back in 2001 when I was watching BET randomly on TV, and I saw, wow, who is this gorgeous woman with these amazing box braids and this amazing
Yes.
voice? And I'll never forget the first time I saw Alicia Keys, and I just fell in love with her music, and I thought songs in A minor was a classic. I still bump it to this day. There's a
Same.
lot of gems in there. But yeah, no, so I understand where that comes from. And around that time, you know, thinking about that time of in music per se, that was a little bit going against the grain. I remember that everything was all about, you know, the club anthems and the 808s and so on and so forth. So you going into the genre of music that you were initially going into, was it a little bit frowned upon, or maybe people thought it was a little too artsy fartsy for their taste or somewhat?
I never, even as a little girl, I never really cared what people thought per se. I've always stood out like a sore thumb, and with the classical influences, I think I always leaned towards just things that sounded a little bit more classically inspired than like the more mainstream things. So I think that like the classical influences, the classical training, definitely like conditioned my ears a little bit different. Like the things that I found that resonated with me were like arpeggios and things that sounded like beautiful scales and things like that would really like attract me.
And what other kind of musical training did you get as you grew older?
So at a young age, I got a scholarship for Juilliard.
Wow.
It was a minor.
That's a big deal.
It was called the MAP program, so it was not per se like college, but it was still a really big deal. I auditioned the first year, I didn't get it, and I kept trying. The second year I auditioned, I got the scholarship, and it was a scholarship for kids that were minorities in the city. So, you know, it was fully paid, and I got to work and train under like world-renowned teachers.
Now, I know you said that you never were the type to care what other people think. You kind of just been doing your own thing. But a common theme that comes in music, and any musician will tell you this, especially starting out, is there's going to be naysayers and doubters and people that are cautiously optimistic because there's been tons of stories about like people trying to get into this business or trying to do this as a career or it's a passion for it, and then it never really leads to anywhere lucrative for the most part. And so did you face any of that criticism or any of that cautionary tales into pursuing what you really wanted to do as far as music is concerned?
I think that I let fear stop me for a long time. I just been singing, like performing the violin is different than like writing songs and singing in front of people. It's like a whole other level of vulnerability that requires.
Sure, yeah.
So like, you have to get over the fear of being perceived and things of that nature. And as a single mom, I mean, like people are not like, they're like, don't you want to be with your kids all the time? Like, so in that sense, sometimes that can be frowned upon. But my mom and my family was just really proud of me, and I've never took on music as like trying to be famous. I think that I approach it as like a tool of healing, a way to cope with everyday life, almost like a purpose to share my experiences with other people. So it takes that pressure off of me of like, am I gonna make it? Am I not gonna make it? I don't feel like, making music for me is like I'm trying to get to a certain destination. I'm just sort of enjoying the journey of it all.
Right. And so tell me a little bit more about that when you kind of made the transition from violin and instrument playing to actually doing, showing your vocals and actually getting behind a microphone and singing your heart out, so to speak.
Well, I became a young mom at 21, so everything was put on pause, and I just, pursued like regular, like my career path, which is in the vet med field with animals. And I started writing songs to help deal and cope with postpartum depression. So I picked up a ukulele. I started writing songs to help like process all those feelings as a young mom. What am I doing? And it just became something that I was doing for myself in the privacy of my room. And, one song led to another song. I would sing it for like maybe my mom or my brother or a close friend, but it was something that I kept very secret. So I didn't do that for a long time. I kind of did it, but in the privacy of my room, still kind of like a little fearful of, or I just didn't have the opportunity yet to share it with anyone else.
What was the cause of that fear that initially stopped you from doing it?
I think that the main reason why I didn't do it is because my voice is so different that I felt that it was like a bad voice. And I was never vocally trained, so, I'm not out here singing like Alicia Keys per se or like Ariana Grande. So I think we get conditioned in society that if something is different, we put it in a box and consider it bad. So I would hear my voice on like my voice memos on my iPhone, and I'm like, why does my voice sound like that? Like it sounds so different. And I classified it myself as having a bad voice because it was different.
That's interesting because if you ask anybody now that listens to your music, they're all saying the exact opposite. I mean, they're saying it's different, it's unique, but it's in a much more positive light. And I just take that as, us always being our own biggest critic,
Absolutely.
like, do you realize how many times I've done things where I try to pursue, whether it was music or acting or podcasting, whatever the case may be, and I'm always the harshest critic on myself, whereas I have to have people basically tap me on the shoulder or in my stubborn ass head, hit me over with a hammer over the head to get some common sense to see I'm actually, thriving or actually like, because I think what happens with us in our own harshest criticism, and then afterwards we get praise from others that really care about us, is because we're able to do something that they're not able to, and seeing that kind of like wows them.
Yes.
And it gives you a whole new perspective on it, and it makes you appreciate more about the talents that you have, and you utilize it the way that you want to and the way that you can.
Yes, I do think that we are kind of prisoners of our own mind. And we let fear, which is an illusion, kind of control us for such a long time. Or for me, I can only speak for myself. But once you like let go of those limiting beliefs and you really step into who you want to be, which is anybody you decide any day that you truly want to be, I feel like that's where the freedom happens. And when you show up authentically as yourself and you're vulnerable, you inspire people, not like you're intentionally trying to, but people, it takes a lot of courage to show up as yourself and also like be vulnerable, especially like vulnerability is a superpower.
Yeah.
It's not easy to go in front of people and share your heart with them and like share a vulnerable song that describes a vulnerable time in your life. But people relate to it and connect with you.
Right. And when you shed that fear, how fucking great does it feel?
Oh my God. It's like you're born again. It's
Yeah.
like you step into a new reality that just happens from letting go of these like limiting things and these fake scenarios that you put in front of yourself. You, like,
It
break down
sounds
the wall.
it sounds so corny and cliche, but it literally does feel like it's the first day of your life.
It does.
Because this is the moment that you've been waiting for to actually feel like you're alive. Because you were mentioning earlier before that we feel like we're conditioned and feel like we should live a certain way or, follow a certain laws or rules that are being applied to us by modern society and so on and so forth. And I think that kind of works against artists in general because they're just trying to express themselves in the way that they see fit. And just because it doesn't resonate with everybody else doesn't mean that they just shut up and go home.
There's an audience for everybody, and there's someone that will connect with your story. And like, you don't have to try to put yourself in a box. Sometimes you're meant to be different because you're meant to just shine a new light.
Yeah. Now, when you transition from playing instruments and then going vocally, obviously songwriting comes with the territory. So, obviously, I think there's some common answers to this, but maybe if you could just elaborate a little bit more on some of your inspiration behind some of the lyrics that you do write in your songs.
Yeah, I think the inspiration behind the lyrics are real life situations. The name Waking Lotus, waking comes from a spiritual awakening that happens through painful experiences. And it's like I became an alchemist, transforming that pain into songs. So the lyrics in the songs are real situations, real life experiences. The lotus flower, it grows out of the mud, literally grows out of the mud. And without the mud, it can't flourish.
Is that the reason why your LP is called Muddy Water?
Exactly. So the EP is called Muddy
EP,
Water.
excuse me.
Yeah, it's called Muddy Water, and it starts with the darker songs and then turns into a lighter like
A lighter tone, yeah.
Yeah, a lighter tone.
Yeah. No, and I see that because if you don't mind me reading some of your the tracks from beginning to end, and basically these titles are self-explanatory. Inside My Head, yeah. I mean, how many times did we go through that? And it's just we're our worst fucking critic.
Yeah.
Firefly, which is interesting. Lucy Amor. So that's also interesting. But we'll get also into talking about like mixing English and Spanish because that seems to be a new wave now with music, with Bad Bunny basically trailblazing it now.
Yes.
Flor Dentro de Mi, excuse my Spanish, it's not that good. Best Friend, and then my personal favorite, Newark Liberty EWR, which is Newark Airport for you kids out there. So we'll get into all that, and I absolutely love that song. But going back to your voice, and then we'll get into your LP a little bit more. I think what makes it unique, at least when I listen to it, and maybe you've heard this feedback before, is that when you're talking about the darker side of life, you could actually really feel the pain in your voice. And then when you're talking about the happier stuff, like Newark Liberty EWR, you could just, you emote that passion. Like you could tell that you're fully invested in yourself and this person that just makes you feel alive again, or whatever it is that you compared it to. Yes. Like when I listen to that song, I feel, God damn, she is really fucking in love. I want whatever she is feeling. Yeah. So, but going with your EP Muddy Water, I mean, just a little bit, not too much, because I want the audience to get to listen to it and find it on all streaming platforms, mind you. Let's do this. Let's start from Inside My Head, and where was the basis and the inspiration behind that one?
Inside My Head, I was sitting in my studio apartment in the bathroom with a ukulele because I had no space to be by myself. So the bathroom is the only place where I could just be alone. So it was me sitting on a bathtub with a baritone ukulele, going through postpartum depression, and, got into an argument with the father of my daughter. And in the lyrics, I'm saying, "You say I'm a loser and I have no friends. I'll prove you wrong. They're in my head. I'm never lonely, always accompanied by the little people inside my head." So it's like talking about, at that time I was going through a dark time, mental health problems, and um, I felt clinically insane at that time in my life, and um, even though I at one point I wasn't sure if I wanted to release that song. I was reminded that a lot of people tell me that they love that song because in some shape, way, or form, they can relate to a time in their life where they didn't feel normal or they felt crazy. So I felt like it was my mission to not just embrace the lightness of life, but also embracing that duality, that there is dark and there is light. Without the darkness, you can't have the light.
Would you say that that is perhaps your most personal song on the EP?
I would say maybe Firefly would be the most personal.
Which is the phone that follows
following
afterwards.
one,
Yeah,
yeah.
so perfect segue. Please elaborate on Firefly.
Firefly.
Like, what was the inspiration behind the title first?
Firefly is a heavy song. Firefly is talking about the beautiful people that you connect with in life, that help you out of the darkness. It's about Firefly, like the chorus of it is describing a suicide attempt. So the sirens are haunting me, the voices that scream, wake up, just breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the chorus is, you're my firefly and you shine the brightest in the darkest nights. So like even in those darkest nights, that light that shines, those people that don't give up on you and they carry you out of the darkness.
Right. And then after that is Luz y Amor, which translates to light and love.
Love and light, yeah.
Love and light, either or.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So the Luz y Amor, my mom told me, I love your songs, but I never know what you're saying. So I was like, okay, Mom, don't worry, I got you.
So she doesn't speak English?
She does, but like when it's like singing and, she was just kind of like, I wish like I could really understand your song.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm not trying to compare the two, but it's almost like when a Dominican barber is trying to tell me something and I don't understand what he's saying.
Exactly.
But yet I can understand a whole Bad Bunny song in its entirety. So.
Yeah. And Luz y Amor is like, it is when that transformation started to happen. Like I hit rock bottom. And then as I started to heal myself, I became this love and light. And the lyrics are, the love I couldn't find, like the translation of it, the love I couldn't find. I couldn't find this love until I looked in the mirror and I saw my reflection. I am love. I am light. I am unconditional love. And then it also mirrors that we're mirrors to one another. So it says, y eso eres tú, and that's what you are. Mm-hmm. So like the inspiration behind that was that self-love is like a portal that sets us free from like this cycle of pain, and like the love and the light that I am, I seek in someone else. It's within me, and we mirror that to one another. Like humans, I believe we serve as mirrors to each other.
Yeah, and then the following track.
The following track, Flor dentro de mí. Mm-hmm. It was a solar eclipse. I believe it was like.
How do you
April?
Translate it to people that don't speak Spanish?
Flor dentro de mí translates to the flower within me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Waking
the song,
Lotus.
Yeah, flower within me, and it's talking through. It takes you on a journey through the four elements, which are the sun. It represents fire, the rain, the earth, and the wind. Mm. And it talks about it goes through each element. The sun. Like, give me your warmth and your love and give me a reason to live and be alive. And the rain washes away my wounds and it washes away my sins. And then the earth is where I plant my seeds and I nourish those seeds so they can grow. The wind, it gives me that life force. It gives me my breath, it gives me life. So the flower within me is just a song that I wrote during a solar eclipse last April.
Right.
Outside. I was sitting outside. And they say don't look at the sun, but I was outside like staring right at it. And that song was born in one day. It was just like outside in nature, no shoes on, guitar, and
nice. Yeah. And then the next two are Best Friend and then my personal favorite, Newark Liberty, Though You Are. Now, I bring these two up together because kind of getting into the express lane now. This is the thing that's fascinating to me, and this is where I want to find out more about it. When it comes to those two songs, you could tell that things are getting much vibrant and much lighter tone than the previous songs that you were saying before.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that those songs, as they coincide with each other, is it's basically about love?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that there is a certain somebody out there that has brought this love out of you, or is this an allegory of you finally learning to love yourself?
Funny enough, both those songs were inspired by my best friend Monica,
Okay.
who's been my childhood best friend. Shout out to Monica. Um, she's been there through thick and thin. And the best friend song, I started writing it for Monica. And then when I realized, I was actually describing myself in the lyrics. So the song started as a song for Monica, best friend. And I realized that it was actually, it turned out to be a song about self-love and self-discovery. So it was a bit of both. You know, sometimes people love you until you can love yourself.
Yeah.
And then same with Newark Liberty. Newark Liberty is about going to Puerto Rico with Monica with like literally no money. And I'm like, I love going to Puerto Rico with her. It's so healing. And this last time I didn't have money, but I was like, I got $1 in a dream. Let's get the hell out of here, girl. Let's go on vacation. And yeah.
I'm sorry, but I also have to laugh because that song, at least in my life, it came into my life when all of this nonsense was going on at Newark Liberty Airport. So I was like, I hope that her song could emote some kind of positivity that this goddamn airport needs right now.
Really, seriously. I was like, I was telling Monica, like joking around, I was like, all right, but like, let's take off from JFK though.
Yeah.
I'm like, I still love the song, but like,
That's going to be a
meet
Muddy
me at
Waters too.
JFK, right? That's really funny.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, those are all very unique songs in their own way. And I definitely felt the tonal shift. And I think that Newark Liberty EWR is the perfect send off because it feels like it could apply to anybody. You could be listening to it from the beginning, and then they're absolutely they're in sync with what you're feeling, you know. And then afterwards, you allow your art and your emotions to allow the flower within these people to grow as well. And that's the way you're doing with your artistry, I feel.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate that sentiment. I do think that music, when you're able to be just like let the audience create their own connection, because like even though I wrote it for my best friend, if you listen to it, it can apply for a lover or for like a family member.
That's what I
you
took it as
love.
first. Like I felt like you met some dude and he just finally knocked your socks off or something.
That hasn't happened in a long time, but luckily, like I've been able to find a lot of like just like I always tell Monica and like my close friendships, like if I was to die tomorrow, like I experienced true love, like in my platonic friendships and my platonic love relationships. Like it's really that wholesome to me.
So is that to say that you're one of those people that believe that a soulmate could be somebody that could even be just platonic?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think that soulmates, like these soul connections, can happen when you least expect it. Sometimes with the people you least expect. Like, yeah, I grew up like in the '90s, so like Disney princesses definitely conditioned my way of thinking. Like I'm here waiting for a Prince Charming, and like when that wasn't my reality, I was just like, you know what, like I'm okay with that. Like, and I think that ultimately, like as you continue to do the work and continue to refine yourself in life, you will eventually attract a partner that's in a healed state too.
And seeing that you have a different perspective than when you did when you were growing up, and seeing that you're a mother now of a daughter, what are some of the life lessons and some of the ways that you try to show her and teach her, basically keep some of the good stuff, but also try to, basically scan the landscape in this new world that we're in?
I think that, letting her know that she can be herself, whoever that is, and just like making her feel safe enough to just pursue whatever it is she wants. Or for example, like as a mother, I think we all try to like, oh, are you sure you don't want to play guitar and sing? And she's like, no, I don't want to. Like, I want to be I want to be an anime artist. I want to be a
let her
painter.
be her own person.
Yeah, so you let them be their own person. And you also just like, I feel like you teach them, you create a safe space for them. Like a child is their environment. So ultimately, like just making sure that she feels safe enough to be who she truly is, I think is just like the best thing that like, a parent can do. Just create that soil, create that safe environment for them to blossom in.
And you had her very young. You had her at 21. So I don't have any children myself, so I'm still a very much of a free spirit. But I could imagine you becoming a mother at such a young age. You had to do a lot of growing up fast and in a hurry. But do you feel like it was also, I don't want to say blessing in disguise, but do you think that you becoming a mother at such an early age also really prepared you for where you are currently in life?
Absolutely. I think all our experiences definitely shape and mold us, however, it needs to happen. And I'm always really thankful that I have my daughter and I also have a son who's 7. So Aura's going to be 11, Lucas is 7. And, like they always push me to want to be better and to continue to just be the best version of myself for them, make sure that I'm taking care of myself so that I can show up as my best version every single day.
Now, for the audience that can't see right now, they're listening on Spotify, Apple, whatever the case may be. I'm noticing that these two different earrings, they're very unique, for the lack of a better term. And I kind of want to, I want you a little bit, explain a little bit what's going on there, because I feel like they're more in tune with who you are as a person and as an artist.
Thank you. I'm wearing one earring that's a sun, and the other one is a moon. I think I really try to embrace that duality. I also have a necklace that has 222 on it, which is an angel number. It's the angel number that represents alignment. Just always trusting the process that I am where I'm supposed to be, and I'm divinely guided. And the sun and the moon earrings, I think I really try to embrace that duality of like darkness and light. The lotus.
Yeah, there
The
you go.
lotus.
It goes back to it. So one of the things like when I talk to artists of all walks of life that come into my show, I've had different arrays. I've had musicians, I've had actors, I've had people in the background, whatever the case may be. It's some kind of art in itself. And one of the things that I know about artists is that you necessarily don't want to keep yourself in a box. I feel like if you're able to succeed in one thing, it's not a bad thing to try another one and see that if you could even thrive in it as well. I mean, that's the beauty about being an artist, is that you can go in different separate avenues and find out more about yourself. So as opposed to just being a vocalist and a instrument player or musician just in general, is there anything else in the arts that you have maybe in the back of your mind or are currently working on right now to expand your horizons?
Today was a fun day prior to coming here because me and my business partner Diego Roque, we were shooting a promo video, but it was cinematic. He does beautiful films, and I was joking with him because prior to working with him and filming, I have no experience behind a camera. But today we had like different scenes and like watching the way that the cameras shoot different angles and one scene leads into the other. I was like really inspired for acting. Even though it's like something very new, but I was like joking around with him. I was like, "Can I add actor to my resume?" And he was like, "Hell yeah, I don't see why not. You just did it." Like, and I was like laughing, but in the back of my mind, I was like really proud of myself because you're just stepping into, as an artist now, like you have to embrace a whole bunch of different avenues. Like you're a content creator, you're wearing so many hats now. And in the music, you're not just, you're going to music studios, recording. I have a band, so I rehearse with my band, and you wear different hats.
And if I'm not mistaken, one of your band members is a former guest on First Class Second Place.
I'm not sure if they have. I have previously. I believe they were. I think. Are you referring to Dan?
No.
Dan Martin. Which one?
Audio?
Oh, I didn't know he was on this show.
Oh, yeah, way back in the day.
That's awesome. Yeah, shout out to
First class
Ladito.
royalty.
Really?
Yeah, first class
That's
royalty.
amazing. He is so cool. He's actually like one of like the most talented people that I've had the pleasure of working with recently. And it's funny because I just posted on my Instagram. I was like, I'm looking for a drummer, and he hit me up. He's like, I'll be your drummer. Like, I'm down. and I couldn't believe it. I was like, "You want to be my drummer?" He's like, "Yeah, I love your music. Let's do it." And I was like, kind of like starstruck, like, "Oh my god, these like amazing artists and like producers and musicians want to play with me." And we actually just recently recorded a song in his studio that we were co-writing, and it's like my favorite song that I've written to date. So it's super fun, just collaborating with other artists, and like you learn so much. Like you surround yourself by great artists, and you are bound to become another great artist. I've
Right.
learned so much from just being in a room with him.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's on top of his shit. You know, he's
Oh
definitely one of
yeah.
the most talented people that I've met. Now, throughout the course of your career, you've made some great accomplishments. You've worked with some great people. You've done this, you've done that. You've probably been able to do a lot more than most musicians could dream of doing. However, with everything that you've gone through and and in the positive light and everything that you continue to do, on a personal level, is there still a little bit of that imposter syndrome that still hits you from time to time?
I think it's normal. Yeah, for people like sometimes I feel like I'll like be in a recording booth, for example, and I'll look and I'll see, the producers that I've been working with, and I'm like, how the hell did I get here? Like it'll be a
Mm-hmm.
moment where I'm like, and I have to. That's where the positive self talk comes in, and I have to remind myself like I'm in this room for a reason. I'm in this studio for a reason. And I am able to do this. But sometimes, for sure, especially when I'm about to record in a booth, that's where it hits me, where I'm like, can I do this? And I'm like, and then you have to fight that negative self talk and like reassure yourself, like, you got this, girl. Like, you're made to do this.
Do you think that some of that negative talk and that imposter syndrome stems from people putting things into your head, like you said before, which was the basis behind Inside My Head from your first track?
Yeah, absolutely. I think society tries to condition us, and we adopt these, especially like depending how our parents spoke to us growing up. Sometimes that becomes your automatic self talk,
Oh
and
yeah.
so it's hard to like break out of that. But when you learn to basically reprogram your subconscious mind and like learn to, just tap
Yeah.
into another energy, then like game over. You
Yeah.
you got it in the bag after that.
It's easier said than done because
Oh
listen, I'll
yeah.
be honest with you, with you in the audience. I won't get too much into specifics, but one thing that I will say, and maybe people will be able to resonate with me on this, is that it is really jarring sometimes, some of the things that can be told to you at a young age by your family, your parents, whatever, just for the sake of winning the argument or having the last word, not realizing how much of the longing effects that it could have on a person going forward.
Yeah. And it's like I feel like being an adult, when people call it adulting, being an adult, a lot of it is unlearning everything that we were taught.
Oh
And
yeah.
like it's absolutely just like stepping into a new character who you want to be, not who people made you to be or what society wants you to be.
Yeah, and I think what also comes along with the territory is you're finding out more than ever you're that black sheep, so to speak, the proverbial black sheep, and you refuse to budge because you're more comfortable than you ever been in your skin, and somewhere along that line, you just kind of get comfortable with the fact of certain people not adding value to your life or lack thereof. And I think that we kind of get lost in the sauce as far as continuing as thinking that we have to have people we have to have certain people in our lives just because they are our brothers or our sisters or our parents or our cousins or our aunts or our uncles, whatever the case may be. And one of the things that I've learned, especially in the last couple of years, that family is not always blood. And one of the things that makes me happy about all of that is knowing that I could handle things on my own, and not have to live in that past where it just kept me down for so long.
Yeah, I think that like when you're an adult, like you can choose what connections are serving you in a positive way. We get to choose our family as we get older, and even like I think that the relationships that you learn the most in life are those close family dynamics, like your mother, your father, your brother. Like those are the relationships that sometimes are the most challenging ones, but they are the ones that teach us the most character development.
Now, we obviously know some mutual friends, as we just mentioned right now, but we also didn't mention Ali De Leon, who's also on my show as well, and
I
there's also
love
Mary
her.
Garcia and so on and so forth. So, but besides the obviousness of you guys being artists and having that small community within yourselves to just know each other and hang out with each other and work together, what do you think is also the cohesiveness beyond just art and music? Like, what do you think the cohesiveness and the chemistry really comes from as far as like your personal lives are concerned?
Like the people that you mentioned, like something that like it's like all the people that you've mentioned that aside from just sharing music community, like I consider these individual friends of mine, and I think it's the intention behind the reason why they create art, the intention behind it being like, all these people are not like out here trying to be famous. They're trying to leave a message or, you know, shine a certain type of light in the world. And I think that that's kind of like, it's more of like that vibration, like that just attracts one another.
Yeah, one of the things I love about art in general is, and I think it kind of gets swept under the rug, even with artists, is enjoying the process and not necessarily worried about the end result. I've always been a believer, especially as of recent, that for people that are doing something just because they want the end result and to see where they can go with that end result, whether it's for validation, whether it's for monetary reasons, whatever, then you're doing everything all wrong. The real joy in everything is the process, and I'll even use this as a podcast as an example. So, getting here and doing all the pre stuff that needs to be done. Okay, it needs to be done. It's fine, but whatever. It's not my favorite thing. This right now, what we're doing is my favorite thing. And then afterwards comes the post stuff where I actually have to post it on social media and I have to tag you and I have to do all these hashtags and all these other things that I don't fucking want to do
I
because
get
it
you.
comes with the territory, because it kind of takes away from what I am doing for real. But at the same time, but I just feel like that does it with all walks of life. I feel like with you in music, it's actually doing the actual creative process, but then all that social media bullshit just comes with like the territory. It's like a small price to pay. But the point that I'm getting at is you strike me along with others that I'm talking about that you are focused of being in the moment as opposed to just the end result. Like when you were working on Muddy Waters, the best part about it was working through that process, not releasing it on Spotify, Apple, Google, where you all can find it right now, by the way. But that was not what your end goal. Your end goal was basically just to, put this out and then go on to the next project, so to speak. You weren't worried about just working on this project and then just seeing what everybody else is going to say. The best part about it was actually making the EP.
Yeah, I think going through the journey is definitely my favorite part. I love to play. I have like a childlike soul in that sense where I love to be in the flow state where I'm just creating with no expectations. I'm just like in that state of playfulness, and I really love to approach music in that way. Even if it's like something more heavier that I'm processing, I'm still in that state of flow and not attaching myself to a certain outcome, but so creating for myself. And then the magic happens when I choose to share that with the world. It's like, hey, I made this. Here you go, guys. And like, who knows? It might resonate with somebody. And then I just keep creating because like the day that I feel like that I approach music as a job, that'll be the day that I don't want to do it anymore. So I try to be very like conscious of, like when things start to feel like I have to do them, like even content, like I want to enjoy that process as well.
Yeah.
Because once it starts being like, you start attaching your success to a certain number, or the algorithm sometimes is like will grab your reel and chew it out and be like, we hate you, trash. And it's like, what? Like I like it, so I'm gonna still
Yeah.
keep it. I'm not but yeah, like just approaching things kind of like a child in that sense of like, who
Has it,
cares? Like a kid is just silly and just
yeah.
creates for themselves, like just to be, silly. And like I really love doing that, and like I'm continuing to create a lot of music. I have a single coming out next Friday, July 11th. It's called With Your Body. And after that, I am working on an EP, another EP that I will drop by the end of the year.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
a lot of new music.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it because as much as I love Muddy Water, I feel like I need more Waking Lotus. This is just an appetizer. I need the full course meal, girl. I know it's coming. No pressure, but I'm just saying I think the world needs more Waking Lotus. Now, if you take out Waking Lotus for a second, we're just focusing on Jessica right now, just out of pure curiosity. Take out the fact that you're this artist and then you've done this and that and so on and so forth. Let's just focus on Jessica for a second. What does a day of self-care for Jessica look like to you?
Oh my God. A day for Jessica or Jess of self-care would be just like sitting outside or being at the beach, connecting with nature, looking at the moon, looking at stars, maybe like I love chocolate. So like all types of chocolate. I like dark chocolate.
Me too.
With pistachios.
Okay.
The Dubai chocolate was like okay, but it sometimes is like I can have a little bit. It gets like a little overwhelming.
I feel like it's gotten so big on the internet now.
I know it's like a little bit like watered down. Like I don't want it no more. Like I liked it when like only I liked it, but and I like to dance really silly, like not like choreographed at all. Like I'm talking about like spinning around and just really, really silly, like embodying.
The little girl never left you.
No, I mean she did for a little bit, but she's back and better than ever, you know. And like I get to just like have a chill day with my kids. Sometimes like my happiest moments. Recently, like I love taking my kids to concerts.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh my God, we've had such a good time, and just like watching their reactions when they like my daughter was like, "Oh my God, mommy, I feel something in my heart," and I touched her, and I was like, her chest was vibrating. I was like, "Baby, that's called the bass." The whole bass was like shaking her whole chest cavity, and I was like, "That's called bass." It was like boom, boom.
As long as she's okay, that's all.
Yeah,
that
she
matters.
loved it. And we go with like the protective headphones and like, you know, those little family simple moments are like the things that I feel like I'm able to appreciate. And I'm like, hey, these are the joys of life, those little moments.
So really quick, to anybody out there that's listening or watching this right now, I know that there's somebody that's wants to pursue a dream. I don't know, it could be anything, doesn't matter what it is, they just want to pursue a dream. But they're feeling fear, they're feeling discouragement, they're feeling all of these negative connotations. For somebody that has been there and done that and has continued to thriving in their own art in itself, what would you say to those people that are listening and watching right now?
I would say that like when you have a dream, it's not given to you for no reason. And if that thought keeps coming to you it's for a reason. Like you're being called to do something, answer the call. And I know it's scary, but that moment where things seem scary, that's the exact moment when you jump. You lean into the discomfort. And like that's the moment where you break out of what you normally are. It's like you're stuck in this cycle. It's a fear cycle.
Yeah.
And you're confined by fear. And like the minute that you just do the opposite, you just take this leap out of and step into a whole new reality. It's like it's also like when the fear, like when the pain of staying in the same is greater than the fear, like just jump.
That's bars right there.
Bar.
Round of applause for Waking Lotus. All right, so we just have two more things to settle here. First and foremost, I want to get everybody's favorite segment out of the way, and then I want to close off this episode with your beautiful artistry.
Thank
you.
You.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is now time for everybody's favorite segment, and also the part that she's nervous for.
Yes,
it is now time for this one.
I'm about to lock in right now. Hold on.
Now it is time for this or that. If you've never seen the show before, what happens is I will ask my guests multiple choice questions. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just what you like best, and it's just a nice way for the audience to get to know you a little bit more and end things on a positive note. All right, so are you ready, Najee? Are you ready, Waking Lotus?
Yes, I'm ready.
That is a tongue twister right now. Let me get another swig of water. I need that. All right. So, like I said, there's no need to be nervous. Let's just have some fun with it, and let's get into it, shall we?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go for this or that. You, Miss Waking Lotus, Playlist or podcast?
Playlist.
Slides or Crocs?
Slides.
Beach or pool?
Beach.
Dogs or cats?
I can't pick. I work with both. It's like, oh man, I would pick
Do you just want to say both?
both. Thank you.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
By choice, I would be an early bird. By the nature of my job, I'm forced to be a night owl.
Wow, okay. Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
To give or to receive?
To give.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Extrovert.
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Iron Man or Captain America?
Iron Man.
Deadpool or Wolverine?
Wolverine.
Are you glass half empty or glass half full?
Glass half full.
Would you rather be embarrassed or be afraid?
Ooh. I'd rather be embarrassed.
This is actually way it's in line with what's going on right now. Would you rather be too hot or be too cold?
I'd rather be too cold.
Yeah, I needed that this past week.
Oof.
I would have loved to have been in Antarctica last week.
It was
That's how
so
bad it was.
hot.
Yes. Would you rather do dishes or laundry?
I'd rather do dishes.
Do you prefer the window seat or the aisle seat?
Window.
Are you book smart or street smart?
Street.
Reading or writing?
Writing.
Now this one is interesting. Would you rather speak every language or play every instrument?
Speak every language.
Okay. Cardio or weights?
Weights.
Dancing or karaoke?
I'm going to say both.
Drama or comedy?
Comedy.
Movie theater or streaming service?
Movie theater.
Ice water or room temperature?
Room temperature.
And then finally, teamwork or solo project?
Teamwork makes the
Teamwork
dream
makes the dream work. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this or that. And we're about to close out this episode of First Class, Second Place. But before we do that, we're going to sign off with a lovely, lovely song written by yours truly over here, Waking Lotus. But before we get into that, I just want to say really quick, thank you so much for coming through. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for sharing your artistry. And thank you for sharing your words of wisdom. And most importantly, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. And thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. It's such a beautiful space. And I'm just super blessed that you asked me to come here tonight.
Right.
So thank
well,
you.
I definitely couldn't wait for it because I got to see you at an event that was hosted by Cito on the Beach. Shout out to Cito and Izzy
Shout out to
Nice.
Cito.
And when I saw you perform, what was interesting about your performance in particular is that you were completely different from any other artist that was playing there, but you were still able to rock the room with your brand of music. And I think that is a talent in itself. And I think that, you know what? She needs to be on the show. She needs to be on the show, share her story, share her artistry, and just go from there.
I appreciate that so much. I was scared as hell that day because of that fact that it's like so different. But, you know, that's sometimes being different, I'm learning, becomes your superpower.
Right. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to close out this episode, the sounds of the lovely Waking Lotus. And before we do that, I just want to say, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me at Waking Lotus _ on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And this next the song that I'm going to sing will be released July 11th, next Friday. And the song is called With Your Body.
Okay. And before we go, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that you can find me at I'm Jason Enrique on all social media platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe on YouTube at Jason Enrique. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. This has been the First Class, Second Place podcast. Take us away, Waking Lotus.
Okay, let's go.
Maybe I can help you move your things inside. Make things neat and help you compartmentalize. Let's just keep it together. Always keep it together. I know you don't know how to tell me that you love me. Tell me with your body. Ooh, with your body. Tell me with your body. Ooh, with your body. Tell me with your body. I'm up all night and can't stop thinking of you. What if I didn't try my hardest for you? Let's just keep it together. Always keep it together. I know you don't know how to tell me that you love me. Tell me with your body. Ooh, with your body. Tell me with your body. Ooh, with your body. Tell me with your body. If I keep looking his way, maybe love might find its way to me. If I keep looking his way, maybe love might find its way to me. Ooh, with your body, tell me with your body. Ooh, with your body, tell me with your body.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week.